wife, 27F, has become less supportive over time, and I'm, 27M, exhausted. My wife, 27F, and I, 27M, got married over 3 years ago. Things were okay in the beginning. There were a few minor red flags, but I ignored them. Over time, though, she's become less understanding and supportive, and I feel completely drained. We had plans to move to a different country, so I was always working as a freelancer to save money for what was going to be a very expensive move. She's a doctor, and the plan was for her to find a job in the new country while I saved up to get a master's degree. But during the whole year I was doing my degree, she was unemployed. She lived with me in the new country for a couple of months, and I supported her during that time. I asked her multiple times to find a job while she looked for work abroad because I could tell she was unhappy and bored, but she always made excuses or said she didn't want to work in her home country. She eventually got a job in our new country after a year, and I got a remote job after finishing my degree. So we moved. But she's been depressed ever since her cats died 2 years ago, and even before that, she was acting differently. She snaps and yells at me over small things, panics over minor things, and when I try to help, she lashes out at me. Even when she's not stressed, she constantly asks for help with things, and if I make a small mistake, she gets mad, yells at me, and then won't talk to me. I thought things would get better once she got a job, but they've only gotten worse. Most days, she comes home from work moody and frustrated, which I understand because her job is stressful. I give her space when she doesn't want to talk, but she often takes her frustration out on me. The other day, she yelled at me, so I just got quiet and went to another room. A few hours later, she apologized and then asked me what was wrong. I told her she can't yell at me like that, no matter how frustrated she is. I've never done that to her. That just made things worse. She stormed out, started crying, called me a fucking asshole, and had a full breakdown. She frequently compares me to other people in her life. For example, she'll say, "Look at my best friend's husband. He dances with her. Why won't you do it with me?" Or, like last month, when I forgot to get her pads while we were out grocery shopping, she gave me the list on her phone, but because she added the items to another list, I missed them. I apologized for forgetting and suggested she could buy them on the way to work from the corner store. This led to her having a full breakdown because she said she couldn't fathom the idea of buying pads herself. She then said, "Even my brothers are better than you. A woman should never have to buy her own pads. You're my husband. You should be doing it for me." That hurt because I always buy them for her. I just forgot this one time. Eventually, I went out at 1 a.m. to get them, and only then did she stop crying. These breakdowns happen a lot, and honestly, I'm just tired of them. She also complains that I don't spend enough time with her. But I work 2 jobs. I work 3 extra hours after my full-time job. I still try to spend time with her outside of work. Every Friday, I bring her flowers. We divide chores. We take turns cooking dinner. I do the dishes. We split rent and bills. But when we moved to our new apartment, I handled everything alone. I called the letting agents, got the keys, set up bills and rent payments, arranged the internet. She did nothing. Even before we moved, when I was freelancing, I would drive over an hour just to see her. Whenever she was sad, I dropped everything to be there for her. When her cats died, I spent so much time with her because she was depressed. At this point, I feel like she's just looking for reasons to argue. I'm an introverted, quiet person, and I always wanted peace at home because I grew up in a dysfunctional household where my parents were always yelling. I thought my home would never be like that, but now, it's exactly the same. I try so hard to make my wife happy, but I feel like nothing is ever enough for her. When we got married, she basically forced me to take her to the Maldives for our honeymoon and spend over $5,000. I tried to reason with her, saying I needed to save for our move and my master's degree, and suggested traveling within the country instead. But she refused. She said it wouldn't be a honeymoon unless we went abroad. I asked her if she's unhappy, and she said she is because her dreams feel unfulfilled. But 3 years ago, this was our dream: to move to this country, get good jobs, and build a life together. Now, we have jobs, we go out every weekend, my idea. I suggested eating out every Sunday. We cook together, and we watch her favorite shows and movies every day after work. But she says she misses home and her family and claims she moved here because of me, which isn't true. She wanted to move here for work because the pay is better than in her home country. I feel like if she's not happy now, when we're literally in the place we used to dream about 3 years ago, then she will never be happy with me. She also says I don't do the things she likes, like dancing, which I've never done and feel awkward doing, socializing with her family, which isn't true. I went to all their weddings, baby showers, birthdays, and events, or watching her shows, also not true. We mostly watch what she likes. From what she says, it feels like she hates everything that makes me who I am. But I still try to do the things she wants. I told her I don't mind if we're different. I never force her to do things she doesn't want to do. But she always forces me, and if I try to say no, she ends up having a mental breakdown, after which I obviously have to say yes. I don't know what to do anymore. I'm exhausted. I've done everything I can to be a good husband, but I constantly feel like I'm not enough. What should I do? What would you do if you were in my shoes? TLDR. Married for 3 years. Wife has become emotionally unpredictable and takes her frustrations out on me. She has frequent breakdowns and often yells at me. I work 2 jobs and try my best to make her happy, but it's never enough. I feel like she will never be happy with me, no matter what I do. I'm exhausted and don't know what to do.